Sup, y'all? Told y'all I'm back. um, this right here is my All American recap. Season 5 recap. The season finale was this past Monday. And when I tell you guys, it left, I mean, the sea of emotions watching season five's finale. I'm just, this season by far was probably the most emotional season by far. I mean, I think back to what were like, I've cried, and hey, I'm an empath. I'm emotional, whatever. Like, people who watch this have never cried at any show or movie or anything like that. I can relate. I believe I even said this in the um, Billy, the the cliffhanger or the pivotal moment of this show was when Coach Baker died, and I was saying how I believe I was stating how, like, Spence, I can relate to Spencer. I really can, and I think a lot of people who know me see and say the same thing. Like, we can see a lot of Spencer in you, um, which is probably a reason why I gravitate to this show so much. Like, I recall telling you guys that the first time I watched All American was my daughter was binge watching it one day, one weekend, and I happened to, she fell asleep watching it, and I picked it up, and ever since then, I've been hooked. I've been invested. It's funny because so there's a joke, you know, uh, someone someone's upset that I don't watch Power. I don't watch it. Never have. Probably never will. I'm sorry. I just won't. Sorry. But friend, she had made reference to it. She was like, "Oh, you know, you gotta watch Power." I was like, I'm not watching Power." It's like, "But you got me watching All American." I think All American's better, you know. But I'm so invested in that show. Honestly, um, All American. So this is the season 5 recap. I mean, the season finale. I'm talking more on the season finale, but obviously, it brings everything from season 5 into full perspective. So let's talk about the small, like, not the small stories, but the stories that, like, I kind of just like, okay, we got past this, you know, I, the meat of this season finale and the essence of this season was Spencer and Olivia. We all know that. We all know that if you listen, I was all for, and y'all know, like, I'm team Spence and Olivia all day. I love them two together. I think they are, like, they fit each other. Jordan and Layla is a close second. They're a close second. But so let's talk about Asher. Let's talk about Asher and Jamie, because it's a big story, but it's not like in my ranking of the stories, it's not, it's there, So, spoiler alerts for those that haven't watched the season finale of All American. They find out the sex of the baby. They are having a son. That was towards the tail end of the show. But the big story of their thing was Asher's dad. We all know, if you follow All American, otherwise, why would you be watching this video? But if you follow All American, you know Asher and his father have a very estranged relationship. And he brought his father over to tell him the news that, him and Jamie are having a baby. Now, when he showed up, he said, "So what's the occasion that I'm here for? Like, are y'all getting married?" And Jamie instantly said, "No, that's because JJ found a engagement ring and went to Spence, Jordan, and Asher, like, which one of y'all are getting married?" And went through the chain and went through each one of them. He went to Jordan first, I believe it was, and said, "Well, you're notorious. You kept your relationship with Layla a secret, and you're good for upping and getting married." Then went to Asher and said, "Well, Asher, you would be the one, to marry Jamie. Y'all about to have a baby, that." Then went to Spence. Well, Spence, Liv is going to London, so you might want to put the ring on her because you don't want to lose her. They all denied it. They left, but JJ, being JJ, left the ring on the table. Jamie comes out from the room on the top floor, looks down over the balcony, and sees the ring there. So she, being the only one, probably, I won't say with logic sense, but she just assumed it was Asher who was going to ask Jamie to marry her. And Jamie's kind of like, I don't want to say most women are like this now, and I'm going to say they're not because I don't know. But she's one of those women that don't believe in marriage per se. She wants to be with Asher for the rest of her life. Like, she wants to spend her life with Asher, but she doesn't want to legally be married because there is a lot of the state of marriage, in my opinion, is just complete. Like, it's like a business transaction. That's how it's perceived most people now. And she doesn't like that. She doesn't like feeling like she's property. That's what she said. Jamie don't want to feel like she was property. So she just was like, "Nah, I'm not really, I don't want to get married. I want to spend my life with him, but I don't want to get married." So back to Asher, Jamie, and Asher's dad, he had told him, and his dad kind of instantly jumped to it and was like, "You're too young. You just got back into football. You're a part-time coach. She's a full-time waitress. How is this going to work? How y'all going to be able to support the baby?" And then he said this line, and if I was Asher, I would have put feet and hands on him, because he said, "You don't even know if it's yours." I'm sorry. I didn't know that Jamie was ever in a position of being promiscuous. I didn't know that Jamie was sleeping with random people. And Asher was like, "Yo, you basically need to get out. Like, you're not going to be involved in my son, or you're not going to be involved in my kid's life. I don't want no part of you. Go." And after a conversation with, JJ, being, the one who, throughout the course of this season, we've seen JJ go through a roller coaster, literally. He was the life of the party. He was partying all the time. not really caring about football anymore. It just was always a live party, live party. But JJ's always been like that. But now that he's in college, it got intense. And then when Coach Baker died, it's like he just went down a dark spiral. He went down a dark hole, you know. And I mean, believe he went to the wake, and he was intoxicated. And then when he kind of decided to take a step back and kind of go cold turkey, one of his frat brothers had told him that they're throwing a party at the pool house or the beach house where Ash and all them are, and his frat brother ended up overdosing, and it was a scary sight for JJ. And JJ kind of at that moment was like, I can't do this anymore. And then he would kind of go into this state where he was self-isolating himself and kind of just, people like Asher and all of them are trying to check on JJ, and JJ kind of just wasn't trying to have it. And then he was supposed to do like a project with like doing like a video confessions about the year, and then, he kept avoiding it, and Dylan, Spencer's brother, had to tell him like maybe he needs to talk to someone who he needs to talk to, who he can't avoid, which was Olivia. And because Olivia is like a representation of Coach Baker. Jordan is too, but Jordan is like, he's his teammate. Olivia is not a teammate, but we get the picture. So after that, JJ being JJ, which occasionally he does have some gems that he throws out there. And he basically told Asher, like, your dad showed up. Even though he was intoxicated or whatever the state was, he showed up. My parents didn't, And that kind of sparked something in Asher, and he called his dad and told him that I have to protect my family. But you have to get better. You have to get better. You cannot say the things that you say about Jamie. You cannot do this. He laid the law down, and his father was taken back and was like, wow, you're a way better father than I ever been, and your child hasn't even come in yet, hasn't come to the world yet, and you're already 10 times better than me. And that was kind of it wasn't a tug at my heart, but it definitely hit a spot for me, because being a father and always wanting to be better than, him, I understand where that comes from. I mean, unfortunately, I never had that conversation of being like that with like how Asher was with his dad. I had a similar one, but not to that extent. So that was that. Next up, I mean, we got the Coop. Coop is in law school, and now Mrs. Baker is probably following suit and is going to be a professor at the same school that they go to, which is GAU. This is because Coop, as you know, throughout the season, is having issues with her professor that she was, in the classroom with. And Miss Baker showed up to the school, showed up in the class, kind of shadowed, the situation, and realized that maybe this was her calling. Maybe teaching is her calling, and maybe she can continue the legacy that Billy left, but in a different way. Billy was a teacher. Now, a coach turned principal. Now, Miss Baker is now going to become a teacher and now be the coach for these lawyers and DAs and prosecutors that are inspiring to get into law. So she's now, kind of submitted her application to do that. And Coop is still in the trenches of the law school and getting her degree and all this other stuff. And it was some trial there. I forgot the name of Coop's girlfriend, but her girlfriend, we all know her and Patience. You know, they shared a kiss maybe 2 or 3 episodes before the season finale, and Coop found out about it because the stalker that was Patience's number one fan had access to her phone and got into the phone remote and recorded it and broadcasted on the internet and all types of stuff. And then we're left with a mean cliffhanger at the end of the show. And I'm saying it right now, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. If you don't want to hear about it, do not go any further. Kind of like skip over this part right here. Patience got stabbed by the fan. Patience got stabbed at the very. It ends with Patience in the baker's house holding her stomach after she pulled the knife out and she's fighting for her life. We don't know what the status of Patience is. Hopefully, Patience is not gone. Every season, I go into this show thinking Coop is going. The karma, Coop's past is going to come back and haunt her. And every season, it doesn't happen, but someone else gets taken out. Someone else, something happens to someone else, and it's not Tamina. It's not Coop. It's not Coop. And it's not Coop. So, we do have an engagement. As I said earlier, we did see the ring. And the number one question was who is getting it. And the way they told the story was very interesting because you would have thought it was Asher because the way Jamie reacted when his dad said, "Are you getting married?" and she jumped and said no. But then you have Jordan and Layla talking because Jamie went to Layla to tell Layla about it, and Layla's kind of telling Jordan, like, I think they're too young. I don't think they need to get married. You know, they just need to, no, that this can't happen. And Jordan was feeling the way about it. So then I'm sitting there thinking, well, is it Jordan that was trying to get married to or trying to propose to Layla? And now that Layla's kind of just like, nah, this too young, this, that, third. Now that's Jordan sitting there like, man, like, I don't even know if I can ask her to marry me now because she's feeling this way. And then, you know, Spence and Olivia, they have their moments throughout the day, which I'm gonna get to because that's the big thing that I want to talk about. But that's not the case. And there's a scene where they're playing football on the beach, and Layla tackled Jordan, and Jordan, being this fierce competitor, got upset, and he left, said he had to cool off, get some air. Layla was like, but we're outside. And he said, I want to get some different air, and left. And he went to meet up with Preach because Preach told him in the show that, Billy, his dad, was a big, big influence on Preach and helped Preach get the job that he's at the school, teaching the school students. And he feels like he owes Billy this. So if Jordan ever needed to talk to someone, he can go talk to him. And he had told he told Layla about it, and Layla said, well, maybe you need to, Preach is someone that you could talk to. So he did take the advice and met up with Preach, and Preach pretty much told him that you're stupid and you need to not be fighting with your girl. Go get your girl back. Go get your girl back. So he goes back there, he, gets her, apologizes and everything. And Jamie and Asher are talking, and Jamie instantly thought Jamie thought that Asher was about to ask her to marry him. And she said, no, I don't want to get married. And then, he was like, they had the conversation. She explained it. He was like, I don't want to know. Like, I don't want to marry you. I'm not asking to marry you now. He pulled out the envelope and said, it's the letter from the doctors, which revealed that they were having a son. So then they were like, well, if the ring wasn't yours, whose was it? And they went right to Jordan on his knee, looking at Layla, asking Layla to marry him. He said, my dad gave me the approval and didn't even know that we were dating. He just said, she's the one. She has my blessing. And he said that before he died, that she had his blessing. And he told him, you know, go for it. And he asked, and Layla was kind of nervous. She didn't know what to do. And then he got up and he's like, oh, I had this whole plan. I had fireworks. I had all this stuff. And JJ messed it up. So I had to call Audible. And he's just rambling. And he's like, I know you said that we're too young. And, you're this and third. And she accepted. She said, yes, I will marry you. So Jordan and Layla are getting married. And it's funny because Jordan had told her in this episode, he told her that he had a crush on her since they were kids. Had a crush on her since they were kids. So we have Layla and Jordan getting married. And now let's get into it. Let's get into Spence and Olivia. So Olivia is been accepted to a program. She, we all know she will be going to London for 3 months. So I'm pretty much assuming that when the season 6 starts, it's going to potentially start with her coming back from London. And yeah, so leading up to the day she was leaving this night, during that episode, she was leaving that night. So Spence had a whole day planned out for her, a picnic, like a undercover picnic. He didn't want nobody to know about it, supposedly. He ended up taking her back to Beverly, and they had sushi. As he told her, you introduced me to Sushi Friday. You were the only one that really helped me through this, and, I just want to show you, give you this stuff, But before they even did that, he presented her with a blanket that his mom and her mom put together, and I believe it's patches of her dad's clothes on this blanket. And it was a very thoughtful gift. I mean, I sat there and was like, oh, Spence, you know how to hit, like, you know how to get this going. So very thoughtful of that. But you could just tell that every time they had a moment like this, a moment of like that you can feel, it's just like, man, it's just get your girl. Kiss your woman. This is your woman. You better kiss this woman. Stop playing. Stop playing, Spence. What are you doing? What are you doing, man? Like, this is your girl. Why are you sitting there just playing around, man? And she about to leave. You better confess and tell her how the hell you really feel. In the words of my man Lou Young, I believe that's his name. You better get him back. You better get him back. Like, man, you better. So they're sitting there. They're spending the day together. Then he went back to the beach house, and that's when you seen the surprise party that they had for her. And they, was playing football outside. He was doing all this, and there's a part where she tackles him, and she's sitting on top of him, and you get to, it's so much tension. It's so much of that built up. That's just it's there. It's there. It's marinating. It's marinating. Like it's coming off the bone pretty much. And then Spence throughout this whole time is using this London accent and these London lingos that's not really real. But he's just doing it because, he's being Spence. So they were all giving their farewell wishes to Olivia. And then Spence is getting ready. They're getting ready to leave. She's getting ready to leave. And he said, "You sure you don't want me to take you to the airport?" She said, "No, her mother insists." And it was just like, it was there. And it's just like, it was hard for him to accept the fact that she was leaving. So he, gave her a hug. And then he pretty much told her, like, safe travels, and left. And he's like, "I can't believe I said safe travels. I can't believe it." And I understand. Spence, I completely understand where you're coming from, because let me tell you, there, oh my God, like when you really truly love someone, right? You do some funny, corny shit. Like, you really do. You sit back and you be like, did I really just say that? Did I really just do that? Like, really? And it's the nervous jitters. It's all this, like, it's you, the inner child in you really comes out, when you're speaking to someone that you love, or you're in love with, or it's that connection, it's that spark that's there, and you feel it. And sometimes when you do, you get nervous. It's that nervous jitters, those little small little details. So yeah, so he did that, and now he's outside, and Jordan comes over and he's talking to him. And I will say this: I think, and people who are in the spiritual world will understand what I'm saying. I think that when Jordan and Spence was talking, it wasn't Jordan that was talking to Spence. In the beginning, yes, because he was like, "I remember when my dad died. And I remember the day that he did die. And I remember sitting there thinking to myself, like, if I had just one opportunity to talk to him again, to tell him, I would." And then Jordan looks at him and he says, "You need to tell Olivia Baker how you feel. No more hiding, no more regrets." And when he said that, "You need to tell Olivia Baker how you really feel," I feel like that was Billy, that was Coach Baker telling Spence, "You need to tell my daughter how you really feel. No more. No more excuses. No more regrets. You're living with regret. You lived with regret over my death because you didn't answer the phone when I called you. Don't let it happen again." He said it before. He said it, and Spence said it in this episode. He said, "I've already lost one Baker. I don't want to lose another one, even if it's for 3 months." So Spence is crying. Spence gets up and Spence says, "Can I borrow your car?" He heads to the airport. The man buys a ticket. He was like, let me get a ticket to London." Dude told him how much it was, and he needed a passport. He said, "I don't got, like, I think it was like $2,200. He was like, "I don't got $2,200, and I don't got my passport." He was like, "Give me the cheapest flight." And at first I was like, why is he asking for the cheapest flight? Like, it's, if you can't go to London, why? But it's because I forgot. You have to get, in order to get into the airport, you need a ticket. So he got the ticket. He ran, he found her. He confessed, told her, "Man, like, I'm miserable. I'm miserable without you." He said, "I broke up with you because I thought I wanted the best for you." And he told her, like, "Man, I love you. Like, I'm in love with you. I've been in love with you. And I can't go another day without telling you this and being with you." And man, I was sitting there like, just fuck. I was bawling, crying, emotional. Like, this is what I've been waiting for. I was so tired of the other girl. Like, she needed to get. I was so glad when she realized there's nothing that you can do. There's nothing that you can try all your best. And he said it. He said, Olivia, you were so focused on making me happy, even in spite of, like, you did so much to try to make me happy, to make sure I was good. Like, it takes a real strong woman to turn around, be friends with their ex, know that their ex is dating someone else, and then go to her to tell her he needs you. And his girl is telling her, no, he needs you. And Olivia put her feelings aside and said, you're what makes Spencer happy. You're his girl. You need to go be with him. You need to be by his side. He's hurt right now. This is after Billy died. That takes a strong woman to put her own feelings aside to make sure he was good. And even at that moment where the tribe, the village came together, and what is his name? He was when Spence's father was there. There was another guy. There was another young kid that was there that was pretty much was like a dad. Spence's dad was like a dad to him. I forgot his name, but I remember he had to leave because his mom was sick or something like that, and so he had to go take care of her. But he came back and he was like, "Yo, man, it's so dope that they put this together." Like, he thought Coop did it. He was like, "Nah, Olivia did all this." And it was that moment where he looked and he was like, "Oh, I think we're due for a conversation." And then here she come, and mess up the whole situation. And when he was like, man, he was about to look and Liv was gone, you know. But it's good to see that these two are back together. She left, she's gone, she'll be back for season 6. I'm excited for season 6. I'm really interested to see what they're doing, man. Like, it left with not with a lot of cliffhangers, but it did leave with the biggest one being Patience being attacked and stabbed. But it leaves you wondering, like, man, what are they doing? Like, Layla Layla and Jordan, is what's her face coming back? Was she making an appearance in the new season? The girl that's in All American Homecoming, I forgot her name. Simone. Was Simone make an appearance? Because we knew Simone had some issues with Layla after finding out that them two are together. Olivia and Spence. How's JJ going to play out in this season? What's going on with Coop? How's Coop going to deal with the attack on Patience? What's going to happen with the attacker? Because Layla gave her strict instructions, like, you are not to be here, and if you are, you will be arrested. What's going to happen with Mrs. Baker? How is she going to be approached with doing the teaching? So many things to happen. I'm looking forward to it. September, I believe, will be September. September cannot come any faster. I cannot wait for this of season 6 of All American. I don't even know if this is the last season. We gotta. It's gonna be interesting. It's definitely gonna be interesting. So let me know what y'all think of All American, the season finale of season 5. Let me know what y'all think. What do y'all think is gonna happen? Are y'all happy to see that Spence and Olivia is back together? I know a few people have been, talking about how All American now kind of has gotten a little corny or whatever. But I'm still a big fan of it. I still enjoy watching it. But like I said, this was the most emotional season thus far. I'm hoping we don't have any more tears. I hope season 6 is less tears. Less tears for season 6. Please. I don't think I can go another season with as much crying as I did this season. So let me know what y'all think in the comments. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like button. If you are new to this channel, make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you are subscribed and you are not getting your notifications, make sure you hit that notification bell so you get your updates of when videos are dropping like this and other reviews, other things. White Man Can't Jump review will be coming out. Fast 10. Unfortunately, that movie review will be coming out. I did see the post-credit scene. I did hear about the movie. I was thinking of doing a pre. I am. You're going to get a pre Fast 10 movie preview, my thoughts going into the movie, and then you will get my reaction or my review to Fast 10. He is I'm him, Shemaine Manchi. I'm out, y'all. Thank y'all all for the love and support.